My wife and I struggle to make ends meet. We strictly budget everything down to the dollar without a lot of wiggle room. This includes our groceries, which we have a set dollar amount we spend, no more. Recently our dear daughter dropped the milk and spilled it. It was 5 days to payday and we'd already done our grocery shopping. My wife said she'd figure it out. I know she has a little money stashed for herself that she's gotten from selling some of her clothes recently, so when she came home with milk and a bag of chips for the kids as a treat, I figured she must have decided to dip into that. Boy was I wrong. The next week I noticed our food was a little higher quality. A couple of brand name things, even a roast on Sunday with asparagus. I figured she must have gotten some killer deals, but when I asked she said oh no, I found a bunch of money off coupons. Then she showed a few to me. They were those earn $0.07 a gallon receipts you get at the gas station. She had gone there and dug through the garbage. She said she got about $5 worth of these receipts the first time when we needed milk and went back the next week for more, netting about $30 total. I was speechless. I asked her how she could lower herself like that. She replied that she did it for our kids. When I asked why she didn't use her money she had saved, she said it was hers and she was saving it for something special. I'm so disgusted, guys. I can't believe she did this. I don't even want to look at her. She on the other hand is mad at me and says I'm the idiot for being mad and for expecting her to use her saved money instead. Am I the idiot for expecting my wife not to dumpster dive? You're the idiot. She went out and got the mile that was needed. Do you think this was her desire to have to get it that way? Instead of hugging her and trying to make some kind of plan on how to earn more money and get out of the situation, you judged her. There is nothing a mother would not do for her child, Paul, remember that. She would beg or steal to get the food on the table if the situation was demanding that. You should get on the boat and try to make everything better. You should be proud you married a resourceful and proactive woman to mother your kids. You're the idiot so badly. I assumed she dumpster drove for food without telling you, which I could understand being upset about. But she has literally found a way to save your family money on groceries by finding discarded coupons. I'd be thanking my lucky stars and frankly be helping her find coupons. What an amazing idea your wife had. Instead, you'd rather she spent her personal savings just because you'd feel better. I honestly can't wrap my head around your side in this. You can't look at your wife because what she did makes you feel less of a provider. You're the idiot. Dumpsters are filled with things their original owners no longer want. It is not filled with only literally garbage. If your children and family need resources, sorry, but you are not in a position to act like you can select where those resources come from. Not having money means you do not have the privilege or pride to decide where your resources come from. You have to focus on your survival. Sorry, but poverty is crap, but acting like your pride is worth more than your survival or the survival of your children is beyond stupid. I am a librarian at a school. I lead one class every period with the younger kids, and high schoolers are free to use the library at any time during the day. For any women that teach small kids, you know that they grab your breast. A lot. It's not intentional, my breast is just eye level for the kids, and they often use them for balance or to get my attention. They don't realize what they're doing. Usually, I just say watch your hands, or gently move their hands away, but I don't get mad because they're little and they don't understand that they're doing something wrong. One day, I was crouched down next to a 6-year-old helping him find a book. He stumbled and grabbed my chest. Again, not a big deal, but one of the 17-year-olds in the library saw it happened and yelled, "Looks like MS. Is letting the boys cop a feel." I went up to him and told him he was being inappropriate and threatening detention and all that, and he gets slippy. His friends were watching and reaches out and grabs my breast. I could tell from his face that he knew he screwed up as soon as he did it, and I took him straight to the office. The principal tore him a new one, and then we discussed it for a bit and decided that a 3-day suspension and a call home was appropriate since the kid was clearly scared and seemed to both of us to be more of a smarter than a danger to students or other teachers. The suspension will also have to be reported to colleges, which is what my ex-fiancé took issue with. I told my fiancé about it that night and he didn't react as expected. He said that the high schooler was just a kid who clearly didn't realize what he was doing and it was a double standard to punish him and not punish the younger kids for the same infraction. I pushed back because I think there's a huge difference between being 6 and being 17, and he accused me of being an unfair teacher who was targeting a student because I weighed in on the punishment and therefore he wasn't treated impartially. He also told me that this being on the kid's record was too harsh and he didn't deserve to be marked forever for a joke. I pointed out he should know better, but he just doubled down on telling me I should learn to take a joke and laugh it off and not be such a bore. I tried to discuss it several times, but he wouldn't budge and I felt incredibly unsupported and hurt, so I decided to break off the engagement. His friends have been reaching out and accusing me of being unfair and rash. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, what the kid did was not okay, and the type of behavior your ex is saying is okay, because it's just a joke is no excuse. These teens need to learn early on that there are consequences to their actions. And what if he grabs a girl's breast when he's 18 as a joke? That's assault, and he would learn a lot tougher lesson then. Honestly, your fiancé doesn't sound like a good guy, and you can find someone better who realizes that behavior as a teen shouldn't be shrugged off due to being a joke. You're definitely not the idiot and good on you for standing your ground. Not the idiot. Hearing your fiancé says he shouldn't be punished for a joke reminds me of those men that have abused women in high school or college and get a little probation because the judge doesn't want to dirty up their record. The kid needs to be suspended and understand that is not a joke, otherwise, he takes it further next time. I know you may feel hurt or regret for breaking off the engagement, but you did the right thing. Do you want to have a daughter with a man that thinks groping women can ever be mistaken for a joke? Not the idiot. In what world would it remotely make sense for you not to punish the kid? Putting any mention of assault aside just for the sake of argument, your ex-fiancé is saying that you should just let grown men grab your breast. Does he realize that's what he's getting at? Because what he's saying he wanted you to do was be like, oh, you grabbed my breast. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, it would be teaching the 17-year-old that it's literally okay to assault people and that he can get away with it with no consequences. Last year, I stepped down from my corporate position so that I could move home and head my family's business so my parents could retire. My sister has a 4-year-old son. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my nephew, so we don't have much of a relationship. She delayed getting her son into school and was sending him to a local daycare so she could work. A month ago, there was an abuse issue with a different local daycare and my sister flipped. She didn't want to send her son to any daycare anymore because she doesn't trust anybody else with her child. So, she brings him into our office. Her son is a terror. She uses an iPad to keep him busy but doesn't make him wear headphones. So, he sits in the office listening to cartoons at top volume until he gets bored and starts running around, yelling. Whenever I tell my sister that it's distracting, she says he's just playing. He's walked into the conference room during meetings twice now and my sister has just laughed it off. He'll draw on the whiteboard for a couple of minutes, maybe ask his mom for a snack or something, all while I'm trying to keep our client on track. We often run out of paper for the printer because he uses it to draw. There are crumbs everywhere from him eating, the glass on our copier is covered in streak marks from him, there's always noise going on. Last Thursday, my nephew came into my office and just started playing with things on my desk, staring at me, but not speaking to me. I asked if there was anything I could help him with, and he just kept doing it. I tried to show him how a desk toy I had worked, and he smacked my hand away and kept fiddling with it. I was like, fine, okay, and then, he kept forcing it the wrong way and broke it. But I just said uh-oh and suggested he play with one of his toys. He says no. He picks up a little toy car I have on my desk. Drives it off the desk. Okay, fine. Picks up a stress ball, rolls it off the desk, fine. Grabs the broken desk toy and walks it off the desk, no worries. Takes a picture frame and I see where it's going, so I take it from him. He starts hysterically crying and screaming. I explain what happened to my sister, she's pissed, tells me I have no right to try and parent her child, I'm bad with kids, I don't know her son. I'm mad, so I say she needs to keep her kid out of the office. I'm tired of dealing with all of this, it's done. He needs to go home or back to daycare. She bursts into tears, tells me it's not fair. And of course, she turns it back on me for being child-free, and I don't understand a mother's love, I'm not being fair. Our parents are pissed. My dad calls me and says he regrets bringing me in, I don't understand the value of family, etc. She hasn't shown up the last 2 days, doesn't answer my texts, calls, emails, so I'm stuck with all her work. My mom told me it's just what I deserve, but I feel like I deserve a quiet workplace, too. Am I the idiot for telling my sister to keep her kid out of the office? Super not the idiot, but this is also coming from the person who used to schedule wall-to-wall meetings. If they were off-site, all the better. I even went on a Goodwill vendor tour one year for a Bring Your Kid to Work day because I cannot stand kids running through the office. Honestly, though, I think your bigger issue here is your dad and mom. There needs to be a serious conversation with them. Additionally, you may want to soul search a bit and decide if you are in the right place. Not the idiot. Your sister is a bad mother. I think it is less about the daycare scaring her and more about being able to save money. She hasn't come in for 2 days, is leaving all the work for you, but I am guessing she still expects to be paid. I'd send a message to her saying if you're not in the office by X day, I will assume you're on vacation and start deducting vacation days. It sounds like your parents heard a one-sided story from her. If the kid is that terrible, I don't get why your parents wouldn't be on your side unless they don't actually know your side, and she lied. Not the idiot. Tell your sister that on behalf of everyone out there, take care of your own child. A village doesn't raise the child, you do. When I was little, I didn't do that crap because my mom showed me consequences to my actions. She needs to step up. Or if your mom and dad are home and care so much about the sister, they should help her out. I feel bad you were yelled at by your parents. I'm sure if you lost one of your clients to professionalism, your dad would change his tone in 2 seconds. So, girlfriend split up with me a few days ago. I'm 26, she's 25. We will buy out the lease at the end of April, but I went to my brother's for the time being until I find a new place. I'm still helping split April's rent, and all the furniture and items in the apartment is mine or my family's: couch, bed, table, TV. She's definitely free to see other people, that's obvious, but I told her not to bring other guys back to this place because technically it was still my apartment as well, and everything in there is mine. I'll more than likely be taking all this furniture come at the end of April. She accused me of calling her an easy woman right then and there because I said don't bring guys back, but I laughed it off and told her I didn't mean it like that. Well, on Tuesday morning, I had to swing by to snag my roller hockey skates. I walked in and there she was, cuddled up with a guy on our couch only 4 days after breaking up. I wasn't mad, just hurt. I told the guy to leave and then took a few hours of paid time off from work and moved basically all the crap I could out of the apartment: my 55-inch TV, speakers, computer, all my clothes, and others. I still left her my 42-inch TV and my Fire Stick to watch Netflix and crap, along with all the furniture for the time being. She kept telling me she won't bring any other guys back, and it isn't what I thought it was. Well, now a few days later, heard from a mutual friend that she has a date with a new guy, and she mentioned to my mutual friend that she's bringing the guy back to our place tonight for date 2, Netflix, and chill. She told my friend that she doesn't know if they'll make love yet, but she wants to. I have absolutely no idea why she would tell this to my mutual friend, either because it's a girl I've known dating back to preschool. So my mutual friend, who was on my side in the beginning, told me this. Now, sure, it hurts that she is seeing other people only a week after breaking up, but she's a free agent. But would I be the idiot for going and moving everything out of that apartment? The thought of her taking it on the bed I will be using for the foreseeable future in an apartment I'm paying half the rent for, and them using my 42-inch TV and Fire Stick to Netflix it up, is kind of making me sick. So what gives? Tell me how it is so I can gain some perspective, because I still love this girl and wanted to help her out this month instead of leaving her high and dry. The fact that I love her is obviously blinding my judgment a bit and probably making me a bit resentful of this. But at the same time, I don't want to be walked all over and disrespected. Not the idiot, it's your stuff. She just sounds like she's not really respecting that aspect of it at all on top of your agreement. Sounds like she's just taking advantage of having the whole place to herself. You can't control her or her actions, but you absolutely have a right to control who has access to your stuff and what is done with it. Though why did you vacate in the interim if it's all your stuff there? I mean, I probably would have either taken all the stuff with me or tried to make a deal where my ex stayed with friends while I stayed in the place where all my stuff was. Not the idiot. I think the main issue with it's your stuff. You've been more than accommodating, and now you're free to take your belongings when she's broken the explicit and reasonable agreement. The only thing I would add is now that you'll be taking back your stuff, you should truly end things with her. And that includes talking to mutual friends about her Netflix and plans. Tell your friends you are done with her and then be done. She is your past, now drive yourself into your own beautiful future. Good luck. Not the idiot. She knows it's your stuff. She probably assumed you'd move it out when she broke up with you. If she didn't plan for that, then she'll learn for next time that you can't have your cake and eat it too. I'd absolutely move everything out and leave her with nothing, because to be honest she should have had plans in place for that scenario before putting herself in that situation. You've been more than nice and amicable about all this so far. No way should she be with some dude in or on your bed and furniture. My wife and I are out of town. I didn't want to post this on my regular account since I've spoken on the sub about what there is to do here and I want to protect everyone's privacy. The timeline here is also not exact just for privacy reasons. My wife is 26, we've been married for 5 years and have a great and fun marriage. Her free pass has always been John Krasinski, which I always thought was kind of a fun little joke between, but after the way she's been acting since yesterday, I'm starting to think she might be serious. So here's how it went down. We were out and I ran into John Krasinski outside a men's room. It was one of those wow moments because it was really him. I sort of gave him a nod and turned around to make sure it was him, and another woman came up to him and asked for a picture, and he told her bluntly but politely that he was there with his wife and had promised her he was like 100% hers that day. The girl was like, "Oh my god, that's so sweet, nice to meet you anyways." So when I got back to where we were sitting I told my wife, "You aren't going to believe this, but John Krasinski is here." She was totally hungover, but she instantly had a shot of coke and perked up. She spotted where he was and was like, "Oh my god, it's really him, of course, he's with the hottest woman ever." I was like, "Yeah babe, they've been married for like 20 years. She replied with, "I know, stupid." I was like, wow. She grabbed her phone and tried to run over and grab a pic with him. I was like, no, I just heard him say that he didn't want to take any pictures. She said she didn't care. I grabbed the back of her dress and sort of guided her back to sitting down. I told her what he had just said by the bathroom. She didn't want to believe me and then accused me of asking for the picture and ruining it for her. I told her that actually, no more rational and sane woman had asked for the picture and he had politely shut her down. My wife snapped at me and told me that creep obviously wasn't a big a fan than I am. I begged her to at least calm down and we'll wait until John Krasinski and his wife are outside and we'll try to politely catch them on the street. My wife got all pouty and put her sunglasses on, as I guess her hangover had caught back up to her. Our server came over and asked for our order, and in that time John and his wife had left. My wife went sprinting out of the restaurant with her phone but came back sulking, so I guess she didn't find him. My wife is pissed, like sulking like a 4-year-old, and while I thought maybe it was like a fun thing, but it's not. She's legitimately mad. I'm sure she'll eventually get past it, but right now is the most awkward time I've ever spent with her. Was I the idiot? Should I just allowed her to go over and make a fool over herself, even though I had the information that he didn't want to take any pictures? I feel like I did the right thing, but she's making me feel terrible. Not the idiot. Interrupting people while they're eating isn't a good thing at all times. Her saying she has more rights than the random another woman because she's a fan is ridiculous, and being mad about it for so long is silly. People forget that celebrities are human beings. Would you want someone to demand a picture during your lunch? Harassing you when you've already said please stop? There's some expectation that you'll be watched and shouted at and all that, but if you really like the person, respect their life. Not the idiot. Your wife was being super annoying and inconsiderate. She's clearly more idiot here. She was acting like a child, but she's an adult. It's not your responsibility to keep her from making a fool of herself and protecting John's privacy. You should have told her she was wrong and then sit back and watched it unfold. Instead of learning her lesson, she's gonna think it was her big bad husband who was keeping her from celeb, and not that she should trust what you say and respect people's privacy. You're not the idiot, but I think you could have handled this better.